Welcome to the Red Green Show. Oh, wait, wrong channel. Welcome to the West S channel. We're going to have a serious discussion about food and a lot of misconceptions going around the neighborhood about food. I watch a variety of different channels. I watch survival channels. I watch camping channels. I watch cooking channels. I watch fluffy kitten video channels. I watch hunting, fishing. I watch prepping channels. How to watch more than one video on mechanicking lately. Well, hello, everybody that jumped in at exactly the same time. Killdeer, JC Miller, Carol, Mrs. Chipper, Mrs. West, Chipper 66. Didn't come out right. Rachel Knight, aka Lance's mama, C103, and Sadie. Sadie's going to get her own YouTube channel. It's basically going to be her sticking her head in people's laps. She comes in here when I start live streams because I'm talking to nothing, and she thinks I'm talking to her. And the first time she did it, she got her back scratched a lot. And now she knows that she'll come in here and harass me. I'll scratch her back and talk to her while I'm starting my live stream, which is a very serious topic about very important stuff. Oh, okay, we put her out. Whoa. That dog just ripped one that would make the planet proud. High protein diets are probably not the best thing for somebody who's bugging in. Whew. That was rank, and it's hanging. There's that, I guess. I don't know if y'all probably weren't here when I started this, but I started this a very serious, straight to the point. I have an article pulled up. We're actually going to go over an article. The article's linked in the bottom of the chat. God. And we're going to talk about what's in your prepper pantry, what needs to be in your prepper pantry. I can literally lay my hands on several thousand carbs without moving. I just did it. We try to prep fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, everything we're going to talk about. There's a reason we try to prep more than just rice and beans. You can't survive on rice and beans. But when people were surviving on rice and beans, the average life expectancy was 56 for an adult male. 56. Guys that eat nothing but meat and avoid vegetables, they don't have good later years. They spend a lot of time at the doctor or in front of a computer bitching about their joints and stuff hurting. So, let's get started. And since, you may need to start rolling them over after I get through educating everybody on that. If you can find ammo, yeah, what the missus said, well, we've been looking for weeks now. I could have got some subsonic 22 today. No, it's not Tuesday already. Buzzard Roost, I hope, jumps in here. He put up because me and the missus talk about this a lot. He was trying to find ways or help people figure out ways to prep protein on a budget. And it's not easy to do. I mean, we were able to buy 5 cans of protein, which is enough protein for 2 days for $15. Two days for 2 adults. You can stretch it. Okay. You can stretch it. Protein's not the most important thing. A lot of people think it is. Hello, Mr. Mayhoff. Anyway, this article is linked in the description. You don't have to open it or whatever. It's a newsletter from Medical News Today. This is from 2019, but it said what basically I wanted to say. A balanced diet includes food from 5 food groups. Here we are in 5th grade again, and fulfills all a person's nutritional needs. Eating a balanced diet helps people maintain good health and reduce their risk of disease. And C103, I go live on Tuesdays on West S, the real one, not West S. Squirrel. But now we're back to the article. We had a really good whatever meal of the day that was today. We ate, where are they from? Cambodia? We ate Cambodian food. It was so good. But anyway, a balanced diet is one that fulfills all of a person's nutritional needs. Humans need a certain amount of calories and nutrients to stay healthy. What did that say? Calories and nutrients. How many of y'all have 1-a-day vitamins prepped? Vitamins are expensive, but if you're eating beans and rice, you need the vitamins. You need the supplements. They have a decent shelf life. And most of the stuff on those shelf lives, I mean, come on, it's dehydrated plant matter for the most part on most of those supplements. As long as you keep it cool and dry and out of the sun, it's going to stay ground up weed for a really long time. How long does hay stay in a barn and still be hay? By eating a balanced diet, people can get the nutrients and calories they need and avoid eating junk food or food without nutritional value. Rice basically doesn't have any nutritional value. Rice has calories. Pasta has calories. A handful of wheat, which is what you make spaghetti out of, a handful of wheat kernels has a nutritional value and calories. A handful of spaghetti has calories. Until you put the sauce on it and the meatballs and the cheese and everything, it's basically just carbs. Okay? It's a big thing of sugar waiting to be processed or turned into sugar by your body. That's all it is. Those are important if you're running an active life, like say the grid's down and you're having to cut all your firewood, you're having to haul the water from the creek in buckets, you're having to actually go take care of your chickens and milk your chibos and such. If you're actually doing physical labor, carbs and fats are way more important than proteins. You can starve to death eating nothing but protein. Did you know that? I mean, how many people realize that you can starve to death eating nothing but protein? Oreo cookies have value. They're baked goods. They've got to have cooking oil in them, surely. And think about it. Comfort foods, not, it's the end of the world. I'm going to sit here and eat all the Cheetos and all the Oreos and then be down to beans and rice. That's not comfort food. That's, you shouldn't have ordered the stuff in the first place. But if you're beans and rice in it every day, that goes into a balanced diet. If you're beans and ricing it every day for 7 days a week, but the people in the house know that on Tuesdays, because that's everybody's favorite night because we do Bible study, on Tuesdays, we're going to get some Oreo cookies or some Jell-O. It's a special occasion. And then again on Saturday or Friday or whenever, we're going to have, I don't know, something else, pumpkin pie and reconstituted beet soup or something. I don't know, whatever you like. Whatever would be considered a treat. Chocolate gravy. Say, let's suppose that you had loving family members that knew of the joyful existence of a thing called chocolate gravy, and they would make it for you once a week just so you could enjoy something different. And they weren't the kind of people that would withhold chocolate gravy from you for your entire married life, because that would be wrong. Let's say you had chocolate gravy once a week, or maybe because chocolate's hard to come by, at once a month, you knew that once a month, after eating all them beans and all them rice, you was going to get chocolate gravy and Oreo cookies. That would give you a day to look forward to. It would help break the food fatigue. The people on Survivor start losing weight on day one. They are given food. Okay. I thought Chipper 66 is in here. That whole chocolate gravy thing was for him. Hey, did you get any of that? We didn't get to come up there. I was going to swing by and steal some. But anyhow, back to the article because got a little off target there. According to the USDA's recommended, half of a person's plate should consist of fruits and vegetables. That's half. And fruits and a baked potato and a steak is not a balanced meal. I am sorry. It's close. But a baked potato is not a vegetable. It's a starch. It falls along the lines of pasta. It's basically carbs. That's where guys that eat steak and potato all the time, that's where they gain their weight. Anyway, consist of fruits and vegetables. The other half should be made up of grains and protein. So you should have fruits and vegetables, half a potato, and then half of a steak. I know I'm from Texas, and that's blasphemy, and that's not the way I do things, but that's the way you're supposed to do things. Well, people in other countries, actually, besides Australia, which is basically America with a different accent, don't eat the kind of meat we do. They eat like their idea of they get a little lamb chop and then a big plate of salad and stuff. And that's a meal to them with maybe some soup. We over here, we're like, okay, we want this little dinner salad, which is basically water and leaves, and then with a little bit of carrots and maybe some other stuff in it, unless we're making our own salad, and then we put croutons and bacon bits and ham and all this other stuff. I digress. We eat a steak and a potato, and then we want to put some sour cream and chives and cheese on top of that and call it a balanced meal. Which actually, if you use real onions, it's kind of like fruits and vegetables. But still, then there again, you're just adding to the carb side. You're not getting the nutrients that you need. You know, your irons, your zincs, your all them other little letters and vitamins and B 2, 3, 4, 5s, 12s, A, E's, D's, and all that stuff. You're not getting it. So you should take vitamins. The other half should be made up of grains and protein. You need a slice of bread. But we actually prefer white bread, but white bread is probably the least useful food there is out there. Again, it's mostly just carbs and stuff. Whole wheat flour, the stuff that's actually got some of the shell and stuff in it, is better for you. Doesn't have to be the brand where it's still got husk and stuff in it. That's just gross. But actually, I kind of like it. But let's go to the 5 food groups. We have vegetables, fruits, grains, protein, and dairy. They changed it. It used to be vegetables, fruits, grains, meat and protein. Now they're just calling it protein because they don't want to offend somebody. And dairy. Vegetables are leafy greens, red or orange vegetables, starchy vegetables. So I'm guessing they're counting a potato as a starchy vegetable. Beans and peas. I do not count a potato as a vegetable. A potato is starch. If you're going to eat a potato, you shouldn't eat the slice of bread. Not unless you're doing a high energy day. If you're chopping your own wood, if you're doing construction work, not the supervisor or the engineer or the architect. No, y'all are chilling in the office telling everybody else what to do. You don't need 2 rolls, a baked potato, and baked beans on your plate. You're quite literally asking for it. Other vegetables such as eggplant and zucchini, beans, peas, legumes. To get enough nutrients and keep dietary boredom at bay, people should choose a variety of vegetables, not just corn and green beans. Corn actually falls into the starchy vegetable thing. It's not, you would think it would be a grain, but until it dries out and then you grind it up into cornbread, it's not really grain, it's a vegetable. Fruits. If you don't know what a fruit is, visit California or Oregon. Juice is okay. There's not as much stuff in juice as in the fruit itself. Okay. Canned fruits are easy to put in your pantry. The thing is, there's canned fruit that's in juice, which is healthy, and there's canned fruit that is in light syrup, light or heavy syrup, that has more calories in it, but those calories come in the forms of processed sugar, which are not a bad deal if you're burning them up. If you're walking and chopping and climbing and baling hay and all that stuff, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you're not, if you're going to be like this chilling in your bunker, you just need the ones in the juice. And you don't need the whole can of fruit cocktail. Share it with someone else. Grains. Okay. This is a legitimate grain. It's actually really good if you do it right. Quinoa. It's not spelt that way. It's Quinoa. Quinoa. It's a good. I think it tastes like malto meal if you do it right. You wash it. You rinse it. You cook it. You put a little bit of butter in it, some honey, preserves, whatever floats your boat. I like quinoa. Oats, brown rice, barley. Notice that it's brown rice. White rice doesn't show up on the list of foods you should eat. Because white rice is just carbs. It will keep you alive and keep you moving. You need other stuff to stay healthy. Healthy is important. How many of y'all actually have real spices in, and salt and pepper is important. But how many of you actually have rosemary, thyme, oregano, marjoram? How many actually have herbs in their pantry? What are those stupid little chia seeds or whatever? Chia, not Kia. Kia's a car. Chia seeds. I put chia seeds in everything I cook now because they actually make stuff taste better. I made chili. Was that chili any good, by the way? I made chili the other day and I thickened it with quinoa. It was not anywhere close to yours, but I was very impressed with my own chili for a change. I got really close, and I'm not going to admit to anybody that I cheated, but I actually made passable chili for a change. She can slam chili. It's crazy. But anyway, barley and buckwheat. The grain. Buckwheat is why is wheat not on there? Oh, that's right, because they think wheat is a bread. Cracked wheat boiled into soup is flipping delicious. Not like you boil it until it's all soupy, but you boil it until it's soft like beans, and then you add to it. Makes you have wheat in your soup. It's actually very good. Protein, you got lean beef and pork, chicken and turkey, fish, beans, peas, and legumes. Lean beef and lean pork and stuff. Whenever they say lean, this is aimed at people in modern day society. In a low calorie output, since I'm just talking, I'll come back and see if anybody's saying or asking anything. Thank you. I'm glad I did that. On the seasoning thing, one of the reasons that I keep Mrs. Dash and use it on everything is because it has nutritional value. It has vitamins, antioxidants, minerals. It's made out of weeds. It's good for you. Uh, the actually the table blend is, I'm leaning towards table blend as my new favorite Mrs. Dash. There's different flavors of Mrs. Dash in case you ever wondered. Um, right, Chipper, have a good one. And did you answer about ever on the chocolate gravy thing? Anyway, um, you can make tea out of alfalfa. Don't drink a lot of it, and don't boil a lot of alfalfa in there. Alfalfa has a lot of stuff in it that if you get too much of it, it can actually make you sick. But it's not going to kill you. And in the right amounts, it's actually good for you. Okay. Um, what else? There's some clovers out there you can make tea out of. You can roast and grind up and make a tea out of buffalo gourd roots. According to Foraging Texas, you can eat buffalo gourds when they're young, just like squash. I gave it a shot. Do not try to eat them, little guys. They are just as bitter little as they are big. The seeds are okay. The seeds taste like pumpkin seeds. They're not bad. That whole gourd, the whole outer, this is nasty. You can eat dandelion, greens, and the roots. Again, you have to be careful about eating too much. You know, so if all you have is the dandelion, eat it. But dandelions can go through you. Um, yes, you can make pine needles or pine. As you can eat pine, the inner pine bark or whatever. But if your body's not used to trying to digest and pass pine bark, and you eat a big old belly full of it, you're not going to make it. Sorry, it was nice knowing you. You just made a brick, and nothing's going around that brick. And, well, yeah, you're going to die. And it's going to hurt the whole time you do it. People are like, why are you eating all of that weird stuff? It's not the apocalypse. If I'm afraid I'm going to eat it in the apocalypse, I want my stomach to be used to eating it now. I want my taste buds to be used to eating it now. In your prepper pantry, you need more than beans and rice. You can get 5 different seasoning pack or jars of seasoning at the Dollar Tree for $5. You walk in there with a $5 bill. You can walk out with powdered garlic, powdered onion, basil, whatever. I've got a whole wall full of it. So for $5, you can do that. You can buy powdered soups. Soup is good for you. Whenever you're making today, or well, the other day when I made supper, it was I made chili, and then I thickened the chili so it would be more like a manwich or whatever rather than runny chili. I made a bowl of mashed potatoes. Then I crowned the mashed potatoes, which had butter and all kinds of stuff. I crowned the potatoes with the chili. And then on the side of that was a serving of mixed greens with spinach, collards, mustard greens that were cooked in uh, turkey broth and had various seasonings in it. It's really good. Anyway, and that was supper. There was no bread with it because we didn't need the bread because we had the carbs and stuff from the potatoes, the carbs and the starches and everything else. You don't need the grains if you're doing the potatoes nowadays. Later, if you want to make a potato sandwich in the apocalypse because you're walking 20 miles a day, hauling firewood and dragging water and milking wild pigs or whatever it is you're doing, and you're burning through 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day, make you a mashed potato and bologna sandwich. I don't care. I'll even let you put corn on it. Get you some because you're going to need it. You don't need that today. We allow our taste buds and cravings to run away with us, and we eat way more, and we wind up paying for it and having to buy new clothes. Simple as that. That's another thing. I only drink this kind of coffee. Really. In the apocalypse, I'm going to drink what's available. What about coffee substitutes? And it may not have caffeine in it, but again, you're worried about my entire world is upside down. I have no sense of normalcy, whatever. I would just like to sit out on my front porch and watch the sun go down and have a cup of coffee. Do you know how to make something that vaguely resembles coffee? I do. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. It's not chicory either. What chases? Well, do something besides onion soup. We buy soup, or I buy soup, dried soup packages and keep them. You're out on a hunting gathering thing. You got 4 or 5 soup packages in your pot. You kill a possum, you find a couple of wild leeks, maybe some dandelions. What's the name of that one root you can eat? Anyway, you find all this stuff you can put in the soup, but it's basically going to be boiled possum and weeds. Oh, wait. Dried soup package, dump in pot, stir up, and now you've got possum soup. You've got flipping hillbillies coming out of the trees offering to chop your firewood for you if they can just have a bowl because it smells that good. Because you had a 75-cent packet of soup mix. All you've got is white rice. But you have some rosemary and chives, and you put a few sprinkles of rosemary, a couple of pinches of your chives in there, and drop that little cube of beef bouillon and stir it up. And now you have something that just almost reminds you of beef fried rice. You're not just eating moistened, bleached rice. Your tongue is saying, "Oh, thank you." It's not just staying alive, it's enjoying a meal while you're staying alive. Stone soup is pretty good. It all depends. We were like 30 minutes too late to have that little pigger. There was a little pig that got run over in the road. The meat was still pink, but somebody like hit him a second time before we got to him, so I couldn't justify picking up ground pork off the road was a no-go for me. Just saying. It was just bad. Rice is carbs that you flavor. You take, how do I explain? You take a can of tuna fish, a small tin of tuna fish, 4 cups of white rice. You boil up 4 cups of white rice. And then you got the 1 can of tuna fish. Okay? You got to feed 6 adults. And that's all you've got. But you've also got some crushed red pepper, some salt, some bouillon, and a few other herbs. Okay? And maybe, just maybe, you've managed to keep some butter back or something to slick it up. Hopefully you've got enough sense to have bought the chicken or the tuna in oil, because it doubles the calories per can. You don't drain the oil. You put oil and all into the rice with the seasonings and the dried vegetables. You let that soak, and then you cut it up, and then everybody gets a bowl full of rice. They get the protein they need. You don't need that much protein. You get the protein you need. The protein you take in. If your body has available energies, available calories to digest that protein calories are used in rebuilding your body. Okay? Your body needs fats and carbohydrates to digest the proteins. It was not the advent of the spear nor the stone point for the bow and arrow that allowed for the increase in brain size in mankind. It was the realization that the seed tops on grass were food. They noticed that the animals they were hunting were fat, and they were eating the seed tops. They were like, "Oh, okay, the deer eats tree leaves, and he is skinny. The buffalo eats grass seeds, and he is fat. What happens if we eat grass seeds? Wow, we've got more energy." We can chase down more buffalo. We'll eat more grass seeds. Bada boom, bada bing. Everybody's growing. What was the list? Sorry, I'm a meat eater, dude. But next thing you know, you got people eating oats and brown rice and barley and buckwheat and I almost forgot about dairy. Uh, ricotta or cottage cheese. These are the healthy deal. Man, cheese. I don't care if it's got holes in it because somebody has shot it full of holes or whatever. However they make that stupid Swiss cheese, or if it's good old fashioned Colby. Now, if you want to eat that stuff that they put the jalapenos in, that's up to you. But I tell you right now, that's not real cheese. Yogurt, and I'm not gonna say that last one. Soy milk, I did it. I said soy milk. Soy milk is not dairy. Okay, that's something else. Low fat milk. No. Uh, Drink it up. Today, you need to not be drinking whole milk. Okay, because unless you're making ice cream, I guess. Fish. There are fish out there that have fats, and some of them that are pure protein. While protein is important, it is not. You cannot exist off protein alone. You can't do it. The Woody Beardsman and Jeremy, one wildcracker, they went out on that first wilderness living challenge. They weighed in and went out there and stayed 7 days or 5 days or whatever it was. And they only ate what they could harvest from the wild. They caught a lot of fish. They caught more fish than they could eat every day. They found vegetables. They lost 12 and 13 pounds each. They were unable to force themselves to eat any more protein. They, it was weird because they were saying that if they'd had more food to go with it, they would have been able to eat more of the fish. But their body was actually refusing the intake of the protein because it was out of calories to digest the protein. The reason you can get away with eating a steak and potato is because you're eating all of those carbs in that potato that allow you to digest the steak, which actually your body only takes out of that steak the protein that it needs, and the rest of it goes right on through you out the other end, like that dog did. Research a little bit and find out what your caloric intake needs to be, what the people in your household caloric. Did you know you can lower your caloric need? I need right now, because I'm so out of shape, I need more calories to sit here and stay alive than I needed when I was 30 and in good shape. Because my muscles operated better. They didn't need as many calories. They didn't burn as many calories to do what I was doing. Because they were in shape. If you want your food stores to stretch, get in shape. Round is not the shape we're talking about, though it is a shape. That's not the shape we're talking about. It's not a goal. It should not be a goal. rabbit fever is a real thing, dry fire. I mean, you can. Everybody's like, oh, we're going to go out in the woods and we're going to eat deer. We're going to shoot and eat wild game. Hold on. Let's check this. We're talking food, right? How many calories are in one white-tailed deer? Huh. Two stone is a measurement, honey. Quit. Hey, hey, you're gonna need to explain to my laughing wife what two stones means. When you say that you've lost 2 stones since April, she wants to know exactly what you're talking about. Because she's making light at your expense. Nah, get it. I made a joke. Light at your. Anyway, I'm still looking for the article on the deer. There's one that tells you how many people it will feed and for how long, how many days or whatever. I think I worded that wrong. How many? Nah, yeah. How many? That is not how you spell that anyway.
It's your fault. You always say that.
I for what? Uh, 28 pounds. Yeah, that's it. Uh, that's a load of crap. One deer feeding 200 people. There it is. Let this load. I know the deer will not go as far as people think it will. Uh, anyway, basically, you get 95 pounds of meat off of a deer, and if each person, you're not getting 95 pounds off of a deer. If each person eats whatever, it's only feeding. It's only keeping you in protein for a few days. On one ranch that I know about that's monitored, it's 9,000 acres. 9,000 acres. They only have 160 deer on it. That's a good, healthy population. 160 deer in 9,000 acres. And they consider that a healthy population. You may see 7 or 8 deer, and your neighbor says, "Yeah, I saw 7 or 8 deer," and you see 7 or 8 deer. So y'all think there's 14 or 16 deer. No, you saw the same deer. There's a reason you can name the deer that go by your feeder. And there's a reason when you go out there to shoot that beautiful buck, you never see him because he stopped at somebody else's feeder or somebody else's stand before he got to yours. There's only so many deer out there. We went and looked at or tried to look at a piece of property the other day, and there's all these, we're going to this bear into the woods guys that are already out there. They're going to starve to death. They're going to hunt the place dry inside the first 2 months. And then they're going to come a good rain, and they're not going to be able to get out. Well, we live in a desert down here. We don't have, we can't graze 50 head of cows on 160 acres. Well, actually, good grass you can. But, yeah, you have to do supplemental feed. A section of land around here, if you don't have wheat or something planted on it, you're only going to run 80 or 100 head. And that's it. Run damn near a cow an acre up there in Oklahoma, looks like. You see, you just can't do that down here. The grass doesn't grow that fast. We get 16 inches of rain a year. And a lot of that falls in the wintertime when it doesn't do anything but, well, actually the ryegrass comes up. But anyway, there's only so many deer out there. And how many did you 50 deer on what? Daniel, did you say a while ago? Yeah, if you're just using it to season your other food, if all you're eating is the deer, if before you sit down and the only thing there is to eat is deer, y'all are you're gonna eat one shoulder of that meal, and then the next meal you're going to eat a back strap, and then the next meal you're going to eat the other back strap, and then you're only left with a shoulder and 2 rumps, and then you're making soup. And then you're going to eat the neck, and then you're going to fight over who's going to suck the brain out the skull. And you'll be boiling down the bones and cracking open the to get the marrow out. Most people throw the food value of the deer away. There's a reason a bone-in steak tastes better than a bone-out steak. Because a lot of the calories are inside that bone in the form of fatty acids. Liver's good, liver and heart. But see, you've got to do unless you're in a cold environment, and we're not talking only during deer season. Uh, you're this is what you eat now. I mean, you're shooting a deer a month, but you're not the only one shooting those deer. There won't be 6 months into a reset. There won't be any deer being shot. Two people can make a meal out of one deer's kidneys. Then the kidney party's over. You can feed a lot of people on the liver. This pandemic proved to me that the fishing isn't going to last either. There's nothing left to catch. I don't know where Cimarron County is, man. We're looking, we want to be over where there's trees and there's rain. We don't want anywhere close to Oklahoma City or Tulsa. Well, we want to be at least an hour and a half drive from a major population center. Because we don't want to have to shoot folks. They fished everything out. There was a guy. I mean, it wasn't illegal, but he was throwing a cast net and taking everything. He was taking all the carp, all the drum, all the shad, so he could run a trout line in the lake at the river. I'm like, dude, people are trying to fish here. I know carp is bait and all that stuff, but I was just like, wow. All it would take was 2 or 3 guys like that. When there's not any restrictions. See, like they were winding up with channel cat and stuff in the cast net, but they were cutting them loose. In the event of, they're not going to let those go. We actually drove up to, it was around it was in Knox County. And it's, yeah, that whole area is off my radar now. So, just we would like to we'd like to move into eastern Oklahoma or Arkansas. Have a good and dry fire. Now, and if y'all got any serious questions, ask them now, because I'm going to kill this in just a very short few minutes. I'm not going to stay on here all night. This is about food. Prep, store more than just beans and rice and pasta. Spaghetti sauce, canned spaghetti sauce. Dude, it's got all kinds of vitamins and minerals and stuff in it. Spaghetti noodles with spaghetti sauce on it is a real meal. And if you happen to have a can of corned beef hash, it's something. You know, you've got some spam, you've got whatever. You can uh, make things better. See, Kildare's area is just a little too far north, man. It gets colder than, well, it gets cold there. um, Want to avoid bitter cold. Is that how you say it? Or spell it? Sala, S-A-L-A? I'll have to check into that. Salsa. Salsa. I like salsa. But, I mean, one of our, whoa, that's what it is. Dadgummit. We have let ourselves almost completely run out of rotel tomatoes. The diced tomatoes that are flavored different. You can get diced tomatoes that have Italian seasonings in it, that have onion and garlic. You can get diced tomatoes with all kinds of flavors in it. Then all of a sudden you've got a can of chicken, a can of diced tomatoes, and a pan of rice. You put it together and it's a meal. Exactly, dry fire. It's the water thing that's killing us. Lamb's quarter is actually a good weed. It's good greens. And learn to eat greens, people. Greens will keep a lot of things from taking you down. The trick, okra, when it goes to seed and dries out, you roast the okra seeds just like you would coffee beans. You grind them up, and it's a coffee-like substitute. Yeah, I don't. We've give up on trying to keep the garden alive. It's just, I mean, we'd have to water 3 times a day, and I just bought that pump. So we may have to move further than we want to. I may have to take a road trip by myself here in the next couple of days because I found a place that I like, but it's an hour and a half further than we want to go. But it's just an hour and a half. It's literally walking distance to the river. And I don't have to ask anybody's permission to walk to the river. I start walking in the creek on the back of my property and I follow it to the river. I don't have river frontage, but I am adjoined on my property. The property would adjoin public access to the river. So, yeah. We were doing that aid, but it doesn't get below 90 at night. Well, it doesn't get below 90 until midnight. And then you wake up in the morning, it's still 85. And then it's 105 by 11 o'clock. Sorry, Dropfire, I thought you was going to bed. I'm just asking for the why. Because it doesn't taste exactly like coffee, Dropfire. I'm not stating that it does, but it's coffee light. Yeah, it's same. You can do the same thing, a variant with mesquite beans. Same thing. You grind it up, you kind of roast it a little bit, and then you make a tea out of it. Yeah, you want to wait until the morning to get up and do stuff when it's still cool, and you wake up and you walk outside and get hit by a face full of hot air. You're like, oh, yay, it's so much cooler in the morning. It was nice out today, though. I actually got a bunch of wood hauled and stuff today. It didn't get hot until noon today. It didn't break 80 until probably 10:30, 11. But then by 3 o'clock, it was a scorcher. So, yeah. Mesquite beans. That one I haven't done yet. I need to go out and get. It knocked all the beans off the trees before I could do the video. That sucks. I kept going out to do a mesquite bean video, but the wind was blowing, and everybody's like, "All we can hear is the wind noise," so I didn't want to do it. And then we go on our little trip and come back, and a storm has come through and blew every mesquite bean off every mesquite on the property. There's plenty of them on the ground, so yeah. Basically, you can roast anything and make tea out of it. It's whether or not you enjoy drinking it after you're done. I checked the average wind speeds for that county before we ever drove up there. The average wind speed was actually a mile an hour higher than it was here. But I was like, it'll be damn. We're down in a valley. It won't be bad. But yeah, all the trees were like this and leaning over from the wind. So. That was not me, man. I actually went and until I found a video of that. That guy running around with my flag. That was aggravating the snot out of me. Yes, they can, or you can just eat them straight. I think they're like candy. I love wild hogs that have fattened up on mesquite beans. The fat is literally sweet. And they're almost fat enough to take to market, dude. There's fat in that bacon. Do what, babe? What you talking about? Yeah, that's honey mesquite. Yeah. But yes, okay, that's it, folks. Got 10 seconds before I tell y'all adios. I love all you people. Thank y'all for coming in. Seriously, do some research on what food is about. It's more than just calories. You have to be able to enjoy it, and it needs to keep you healthy, not just alive. You don't want to be an anorexic zombie walking around trying to suck brains out of people's eyeballs. Okay? You want to live well. Okay? The zombie movie with the brains didn't make any sense because you know they weren't buying through that skull anyway. So, anyways, love all you people. Stay alive. Don't die. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to close this out so Dry Fire can go on and go get some sleep and stuff. Okay? Y'all be good.